Welcome back. The Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show continues. Another game, another round, another opportunity to wear your team's uniform. That's what this season is all about. I had a coach tell me once about, okay, you break the season down into multiple components. Obviously, you want to win a conference championship. You want to improve. But at this point in time of the year, there's one thing you're playing for. And I know it sounds cliche of survive in advance, playing for the right to get on the bus one more time. But really, what everybody's playing for is chance to make the trip to the center of the state and win a championship. Now, that sounds great, and it sounds Hollywood-esque to a certain point, but you also have to embrace the grind. So, I'm going to ask you a psychological question here, Coach. Not X's and O's. We'll break down Wapak in just a second. But how do you treat this time of the year? Because the kids know what's on the line. Or can you treat it like just any other time of the year?
Yeah, I think you've got to go one at a time. And you really don't look ahead. You don't look to who the next opponent might be. You don't think about prior matchups. It's, you know, we're a completely different team than we were 2 months ago, as is Wapak. So I think it's you know, it's a brand new game. We've always done a great job of going one at a time. We're really not thinking about anybody else. It's going to be an absolute battle, a grind, and we're going to embrace it.
Look for Coach Lehman's new book. It's in paperback at a store near you, Mastering the Mental. When you do print that, let me be your PR guy,
right.
will you? We welcome you back. I guess he needs no introduction. Bryn saying thanks for joining us. We do want to thank our sponsor, Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, located on North Clinton Street in Defiance. All right, Wapakoneta. It's almost like, and we talked about this during the postgame against Salina, kind of a mini-conference tournament through the first few rounds of the season. But let's break down what you liked. You've had a chance to take a look at that film now against Salina. What did you like, and maybe what still needs a little bit of sharpening?
You know, I thought despite us not defending the greatest, giving up 39 points is still solid in a varsity basketball game. And, you know, I think they hit shots, and credit to them. They made some plays. They really played tough inside. So I thought Salina did some really good things, and I thought our guys responded to adversity pretty well. There were some hairy spots in that game that I thought, you know, our guys rose to the level that they needed to, and like I said, made some big plays. So we're happy with the performance there. We're not satisfied. There's always something to work on. But, you know, it's on to the next, and we've got to be ready to go because Wapak, they don't care one bit about what happened last time. They're going to be fired up, ready to go.
Redskins knocked off Springfield. They've won 6 of their last 7. Bulldogs have won 5 of their last 6. So both teams, you hear this all the time. You want to be playing your best basketball at the end of the season. That's what it's supposed to be about. You're getting a matchup between two very different styles of ball. Break them down for us.
They're very deliberate, you know, and they scored 62 points against Springfield. I think the best way to characterize Wapak is that they take what the opposing team gives them. So they're capable of scoring 60, 65 points, but they have no qualms about playing a 30-point game. And they're perfectly capable of, you know, locking somebody down and really making things difficult, which is what they did to Springfield. So, and they did it to us once already this season. So I think we've got to be very, very mentally tough Tuesday if we want to have success.
Yeah, that 60-point game against Springfield, just their 3rd of the season. As a matter of fact, in that first matchup right here back in December on this floor in the Dog Pound, 32-26 was the final score. Now, you don't get style points for it, but break down what makes them so tough. They're physical. They don't have necessarily that one star, but they play very well within themselves.
I think the biggest thing is Coach Elkert does an amazing job of they're as well drilled as any team you're going to play against. They scout, I would say, better than any opponent that we play. They're going to be familiar with everything we're trying to do, and they just really get their kids to buy in. I think it's reminiscent of how we get our kids to buy in defensively, and they really, you know, it's not always the prettiest brand, but you're going to make the opposing team's lives uncomfortable, and that's kind of what they pride themselves on.
They did not have Moyer in that first meeting against you. He's back. He's healthy. What does he bring to the team that you didn't see in the first meeting?
He's their heart. He really makes them go. He's somebody that on the defensive end, he's their best defender. Offensively, he's their second best offensive player. So they're a vastly different team. There's 2 or 3 guys that played against us early in the year that don't get any action anymore. So they're much, much different. They're improved, and they're peaking at the right time.
Defensively, no secret, they like to kind of pack it down low. They'll dare a few guys. Obviously, Cy's going to grab defensive attention no matter where he's at on the court. But is this a matter of thinking ahead 1 or 2 steps? If the ball finds me and I have this opportunity, I'm going to do what I do, but I've got to be one step ahead. This is where you're playing chess instead of checkers. You kind of made that challenge to your guys in practice today.
Yeah, they have to be active. They've got to be ready to play the second they catch the ball and even before they catch the ball, because they are going to leave some guys open. They're going to pack the paint. They're going to switch every interchange, every screen. So it's going to be something that our guys haven't seen a lot of. They defend pretty well 1 through 5, and they're not afraid to switch little onto big. So we've got to have big men that are ready to take their guards into the post, and we've got to have guards ready to take their bigs off the dribble.
You got quite a bit of your offense last meeting from the foul line. Khalil Ligon talked a little bit about this. Look, you can get downhill, and if you want freebies, we'll take freebies. However you score against these guys, it still counts as a point, 2 points, right? How do you get the tempo to where you want it to make them uncomfortable?
I think we can run on them. I really do. I think we can get some transition on them, but that requires, sitting down and defending and then getting the rebound. I think the transition game does benefit us, and I think we've got an advantage in that regard, but they're going to be well prepared. So I think we've got to be ready to be strong with the ball. Like I said, 5 guys attacking offensively and getting to the paint and playing on balance.
This team has been built to do something special, and without going into great detail, you kind of challenged them. At the same time, it's a grind. If it were easy, everybody would do it. But when this team is playing its best, what's the ceiling for this group right now that we've hit the postseason?
I think every team we've played this year we can compete with when we're playing our best. And I think that's encouraging to know going into any game, is that you've played a large majority of your schedule as good, if not better, than those teams. We've taken a few licks in games, but there aren't any excuses. Every team we play is banged up. Everybody's got bumps and bruises this time of year. We've got to find a way to fight through tough times, and like you said, the sky's the limit if we're going to be tough and play hard.
For whatever reason, it just popped into my head, but that old movie, Coach Carter, I don't think it was that old. I still feel relatively young when I saw it. But when they made the postseason, he looked at him in the huddle and he said, just because you deserve it doesn't mean you won't have to earn it. That's what it's about. Is this going to be the type of game where we're not just talking about 4 quarters, we're talking about possession by possession? It's going to be that valuable.
Without question. I don't see either team distancing themselves too well. I think it's going to be a game that's slowed down and a game that's broken up into minutes and seconds as opposed to just one full game. I think it's we're just too familiar with one another, and we've had a lot of battles, Coach Elkert and I, the last 5 years. And, this is just going to get added to that list.
Maybe a coach's one-on-one if it goes into overtime. We're going to put money on you?
My conditioning's not what it's been, so I'd take him.
Personally, I think he's poor boy in it, but neither. We'll let that happen. Maybe we can get something in the summer going as far as a fundraiser for both programs.
Let me work up there.
Coach, in all seriousness, though, we appreciate you giving us access to the program. As always, good luck tonight.
Thanks, guys.
Coach Lehman joining us on the Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show. Don't you go anywhere. We're back with our player profile, senior Khalil Ligon. He can't get enough of these. They also say he's the good luck charm, so why not? Young man wants a microphone. He's pretty good. We'll hear from him in his own words when we come back. You're watching the Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show on DCTV Sports.